Hello and welcome to Dolan Unfiltered, where we talk off the cuff and nothing is off the table. Bombshell royal news today. The Duchess of Sussex has enraged Buckingham Palace by using her Your Royal Highness title. What a cheek this woman's got. Total delusions of grandeur. And of course, she couldn't care less about royal protocol. She's got no respect for the institution. In fact, she hates it. So what's happened is that she's been on her Instagram, which I think we can all agree is just a platform for her outrageous ego. And she's been on Instagram in the last couple of days over the weekend, and she has shared a letter from Ukraine's vice president addressed to Your Royal Highness, thanking Meghan and her family for their support of Ukraine. Now, Meghan published the message unedited to her Instagram stories. Okay, now let's be clear about this. Meghan and Prince Harry never formally surrendered their HRH titles, but as part of their 2020 exit deal, which, by the way, on the part of King Charles and the palace was extremely generous, very, very gracious indeed, they agreed, okay, that the Sussexes agreed not to use the title HRH in any official or commercial capacity. Now, an insider in the palace has told the Daily Beast website, this is outrageous. Every time you think they can't make it worse, they make it worse. You're absolutely right. That is a very, very good quote. It's humiliating for Prince Harry in particular because, you know, Harry knows the rules. He is a guy that grew up understanding royal protocol. And although Harry is now furious with his family and very bitter about the UK, I'm sure that somewhere deep inside there is still a grudging respect for the institution. And this is not the first time that Meghan has ignored the rules, disposed with protocol, and just been obnoxiously rude and, in a way, how can I put it? I feel that what she's doing here is cultural vandalism. Okay, as a Brit myself, by the way, that's the River Thames. What do you think? It's looking pretty good today, isn't it? Very sunny in London. By the way, cheers. This is the Unfiltered, so I've got my decaf. This is the world's biggest mug. What do you think of that? Either that or I'm tiny. Unfortunately, it appears to be quite broken. I don't know how that happened. It could be Mrs. Dolan in a drunken rage. Let me say that she works in construction and plays hard and works hard at the same time. So look, the bottom line is that, Meghan has no respect for the institution. Don't forget that Netflix documentary, that awful sham of a documentary, in which she did a fake curtsy to the Queen. She was explaining to the interviewer, with Harry sat next to her, that when she met the Queen, she had to do a fake curtsy, and she kind of like really overacted how awkward it was. And you could just see Harry's crushing embarrassment at that point. Because, like I say, I think there's still a degree of respect for the institution. There has to be, because it's in him. It's bred in him from day one. So he can see, the institution being, admonished and rubbished in that way by Megs. But not just that, of course. It was very rude to Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, one of the greatest Britons of history. She's up there with Queen Victoria, Winston Churchill, Shakespeare, Paul McCartney. Take your pick. So look, an absolutely shocking new development now, taking these titles of HRH. Now, clearly, it was this vice president of Ukraine who wrote the letter, and it started Your Royal Highness. Fine. So they've made a mistake. They're quite busy fighting a war, so I will forgive the leadership of the Ukrainian government for not realizing that you don't address Meghan as Your Royal Highness. What I won't forgive is Meghan putting it on her Instagram. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows it's not allowed. And the damage that this woman is willing to wreak on the royal family is unending. You would think, wouldn't you, that the royals, that King Charles, who's still battling cancer, lovely Queen Camilla, a dignified lady, William and Catherine just recovered from cancer herself, and poor William had to hold the fort on his own with the kids and everything, right? What they've been through. But that's not enough for Meghan. She's not caused enough damage. She's now mocking them. She's trolling them publicly online by posting this letter a couple of days ago which is Your Royal Highness. And it's really awkward for Harry. She's put Harry in an awkward position. And let me tell you that if she keeps doing this, if she keeps being so damaging and so cruel to the royal family and the institution, I think that in terms of Harry, I think he's going to do a flip. And he's like, I've had enough of this, actually. I've actually had, because somewhere deep inside him, as I say, there is that respect for the institution and there is that love for the family. Now, your comments were brilliant after the last video. And it was about why did Harry choose a hotel so close to where his brother William lives? And some of you said, no, it's a non-story. Others thought that it was, maybe a little hint that he wants reconciliation. But many of you have said that Harry should never be forgiven, that William should not have him back in the family, that he's persona non grata. Well, the more damage that Meghan does and the more disrespect she shows to the family, I think that something's going to click in Harry's head, right? H, my husband. I think something will click and be like, honestly, I'm sick of this. I'm out. And that was the title of the last video, Harry Wants Out. And it's coming, folks. That rage, okay, that he's got towards the family and towards the UK, it's going to be focused at some point on his wife. I say that with no pleasure, but she's got it coming. She's asking for it. And this is brazen, isn't it? Your Royal Highness. What an arrogant thing to do. So arrogant to post that and then go, oh, whoops, by accident. I didn't mean to. Now, I have to tell you something. I don't understand social media. So I don't know whether she's deleted this post or whether it disappears after 24 hours anyway. I think, personally, I'll just speculate. Shall we indulge in some speculation? Even though this show is normally hard news, but let's go for some speculation here. I think that she was told to delete it. But, she doesn't care. She's like, I'll delete it. I'll delete it. She doesn't care because the damage is done. Do you know what I mean? The bombshell has been dropped. And her work here is done, basically, because we're talking about it. And what she's done, she's just basically called herself Her Royal Highness. So a past statement from the palace made it clear, and here's the statement. The Sussexes will not use their HRH titles as they are no longer working members of the royal family. King Charles, his current stance is the same. Oh, yeah. So the same source, right, for the Daily Beast, said that King Charles now doesn't allow himself to get angry about things like this anymore. A response from Prince William's circle, a friend of Prince William, said Meghan's post was likely deliberate. Well, I agree with that, describing it as quite a clever way of testing the water. She can say, oops, they got my name wrong, but also claim she never gave up the title. And it's such a breach of contract. They've said, because when the couple rather aggressively decided to leave the UK in 2020, it was funny but they left, and then with the global health pandemic, I think that we had more trouble from Harry and Meghan than the big health crisis thing. So, I certainly got a worse fever and less comfortable symptoms. Look, the bottom line is that when they left, parting on, in inverted commas, good terms, Charles could have stripped them of their HRH, made it official, but he didn't, because that was like to preserve their blushes, and it was just a polite thing. So it was an unspoken agreement. You won't use those titles, but we won't strip you overtly. And she's just reneged on that completely because she doesn't care. She's got no integrity. She's got no soul. She's got no heart. It's all about Meghan, and what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. But it's becoming increasingly humiliating for Harry. And I know lots of you are really angry with Harry at his behaviour. And yes, he's a grown man, old enough to know better. He's made his bed. He's got to lie in it. I understand that. But I'm beginning to feel sorry for Harry because, first of all, I think he suffers severe depression. I honestly do. And, that's really, really tragic. And that needs to be dealt with, actually. And I hope he's in medical care because the guy is wildly unhappy. I think you can see that from those angry speeches he makes at the Invictus Games, ranting and raving about the state of the world. And that awful book, Spare, which was just such a toxic tome, wasn't it? Hundreds of pages of anger and self-pity and bitterness. Get over yourself. You're one of the richest, most privileged men in the world. But I genuinely worry for his mental health. I think he's angry. I think he's bitter. I think he's damaged. And I think he's made a terrible choice in Meghan Markle, who he thought was the cure to his problems and is now essentially the source of them. And it upsets me as a proud Brit. It upsets me to see Harry humiliated like this. So that moment on the Netflix show when his wife mocked Queen Elizabeth II. Imagine doing that. I mean, that for me, that's actually a divorce moment. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm out of here. What you said about my grandmother, one of the greatest figures in British history, who devoted her life, 7 decades of her life, to public duty, never put a foot wrong, never said anything stupid, worked like an absolute monster, day in, day out. What a treasure she was. The idea of mocking Queen Elizabeth. It's the lowest of the low. I mean, who's next? Mother Teresa, Gandhi. Who else has lovely Meghan got in her sights for a takedown? Well, Princess Catherine, who she's behaved appallingly to, who's battling cancer. And I didn't think much, by the way, of that message. When Catherine got the diagnosis of cancer, I didn't think much of the message from the Sussexes, which I thought was perfunctory, and it didn't contain the word love. And I was on air at the time, on my previous job, in establishment media, where I didn't have the freedom that I've got now, including to have lovely coffee whilst on air. Cheers. I think Mrs. Dolan had had a few pints of Buckfast when this fell on the floor. Either that or she took it to a Greek wedding. We'll never know. Didn't happen to me, though. I'm not a clumsy character. World's biggest mug. Okay, so, folks, I mean, it takes a lot to shock me. This story has shocked me. It's saddened me. It's angered me. And I agree with this insider who said you'd have to be an idiot to believe she didn't know exactly what she was doing when she posted that message. No, she's a genius at disturbing the peace. She's a genius at disrupting. She's a troublemaker. She's the Americans call it, hello America. She calls it, you would call it, she's an S disturber. You know what S is, the stuff when you go to the bathroom. She's an S disturber. She lives for it. She lives to create damage and turn people against each other. And it's what she does. Like I said in the last video, good luck to her. She's really good at what she does, and more fool the people around her for letting her do it, especially Harry. But yeah, I'm actually feeling quite protective of Harry. And I know you won't agree because a lot of you cannot stand the man anymore. And you think he's a liar and he's vicious and bitter and horrible. And you're right about all those things. But I just can't watch this guy who's clearly damaged goods be abused in this way. You know, and so anyway, that's it. Can you imagine? Harry would never put that on Instagram, Your Royal Highness. He gets the deal. The message was shared shortly after Harry's unannounced visit to Ukraine. Remember, he's worried about his safety, but spends most of his life in war zones. Make it make sense. He met with wounded veterans at the Superhumans Centre in Lviv. By the way, so Harry turns up, these war veterans with missing limbs. Have they not suffered enough? Do they really need a visit from the world's least happy millionaire moaning about his terrible life? They're like, yeah, thanks, Your Royal Highness. I'm kind of like trying to work out how to rebuild my life with only one arm. But yeah, I can understand why you're furious with your family. Seriously, those poor folks. I'm thinking they must have cheered up once he left. It's like, bloody hell, is he gone now? I'd rather hang out with a few Russian soldiers than sit with that old grumpy ginger-haired silly sausage. Numpty. That's a good word, isn't it? I believe it's a Scottish word. He's a prize numpty. So there you go. It's crazy. It's an act of war from the Duchess. She has published a letter that calls herself Your Royal Highness. It's obnoxious. It's an FYOU, family show, so I'll try to put it in code. It's an FYOU to the royal family and to King Charles. What an outrageous person she is. By the way, a quick bit of intel, an update for you. King Charles did not meet Harry. Royal biographer Robert Hardman, who's a good friend of mine, said that King Charles did not meet Prince Harry during his UK visit, partly because it could pose legal jeopardy. Since Harry is suing the Home Office over the removal of his police protection and private conversation, any private conversation between father and son could influence or be referenced in the ongoing court case, something both sides are keen to avoid. So it could be that the H-bomb, Harry has not spoken to his father because of that legal. But imagine a court case that you didn't need to have is the reason why you can't go and meet your very poorly father who's battling cancer. And the whole thing is, first of all, Harry in the court case thinks that his father could have arranged for the security and overruled the Home Office. What a spoiled so-and-so, thinking my dad's the king, so I'll get him to change the rules about what UK security services do. No, that would produce a constitutional crisis, because the genius of the British monarchy is that they are decorative. They're on the mantelpiece of the nation, there to be looked at and admired, but serve no practical function. And that's the point. That's why they're so valuable. And that's why the Queen never got involved in politics for 70 years. And Charles has done a good job too. He's even piped down a bit about the net zero stuff. So, you know, he gets the gig. So the idea that Charles would step in and go, no, give my son armed cops, it would be the worst headlines, and it would bring the monarchy into disrepute. And Harry wants that. Harry's willing to put his father through that. How selfish. So bad. A praise numpty. And here's the other thing, and this is what's so problematic with Harry's court cases. The royal family hate court cases, right? It's anathema to them. You know, I could make the most outrageous allegations about King Charles and say that he's actually not a human being. He's a kangaroo/alien with 11 legs. And he's not going to sue, because the royals don't like court cases, because they have integrity, and they keep their counsel, and they're dignified, and they understand that royalty is a mystique, and it's about respect, and it's about discretion. And you can't have any of that if you're in a court with your dirty laundry being washed in public. The royals hate court cases, and therefore it's so bad that Harry has put the royal family through this, because yes, they're not there participating in it, but it's about the royals, and it's dragging them into an arena to which they don't belong and don't wish to participate. It's so cruel, and it's so bad, and it's so wrong. But that is Harry. Folks, I've got big news for you as we wrap this up briefly. I hope you're having a great day, by the way. Cheers to your very good health. Some controversy about yesterday's outfit, which was a check shirt with a stripy tie that some of you said resembled that tape they use in a crime scene. Well, don't forget, every single Unfiltered is in its own way a crime scene. I think you'll agree. But yes, it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. All I will say is I was on heavy medication when I chose the outfit. But who knows what the next outfit will be, but it's likely to come tomorrow, because episode 2 of Confessions of a Female Founder, Meghan Markle's podcast, is dropping. Plus, I've got some other big Meghan gossip coming. So I think it's highly likely that as long as I can find another clean mug in the house that's not broken, there will be another Unfiltered tomorrow, in which I'll give you my reflections on her latest podcast, plus a bit more gossip. Thanks for your company. All being well, see you tomorrow. And let me say, keep those comments coming, because I read every single one and they're fascinating. And I love it when you agree with me. I also love it when you don't agree. And it's like there's a lot to learn from everyone's opinions. And I will, by the way, try over time to include some of your comments in these Unfiltered chats. So that's a big plan for the future. In the meantime, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, you can really help me by subscribing and hit the notification bell, because then you get alerted straight away when there's a video, and it helps my channel to get my name out there. This channel is nothing without you. It belongs to you. It's got my name on it, but it's ours. And I'll see you for the next one. Thank you for watching Dolan Unfiltered. Go and have a great day. My husband, his name is H. I like to show him who's boss. I've taken away 3 of the 4 letters from his name, and I just call him H, not Harry, because you see, I'm in charge. I decide everything, even what his name is, even though he was christened Harry by Charles and Diana. But I know better than them, because I'm a better person. I'm so clever. I'm an entrepreneur, a lifestyle guru, an actress, and a humanitarian. You're welcome. I'm just here to make the world a better place. I love my husband, the H-bomb, Harry, a war hero in Ukraine. And I'm still your Royal Highness, but shh, don't tell anyone. It's a little secret, your Royal Highness. H-R I'm basically the Queen, and I'm more royal than Princess Catherine, who is my friend, and I wish her no harm. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Shaggy? Yikes! Let's get out of here, Scoobs!